For the product single page, as you can see right now, whenever we click, we are redirecting to with the /product. Then we are going directly in the products according to the Slack. So as you can see right here, we have a product.slack, but we need to create a new file called page.tsx rfce, and that file will contain especially our entire property. To just go and align with that should be, let's say, single product page. So that would be our single product page. So right now, if we just reload, we should be able to see our product page right here. So this page where we're gonna just showcase all of that parameter by which we can see what kind of products we are viewing and how it's going to be so far. If we click on right here, as you can see, there is a loading going on, and then the product page data, one is the image, another the right side is just having the details about that product. So we're gonna just implement that one. So before initializing that, we need to get back the product from other particular instances, and remember we are passing that particular Slack, so we can easily capture that one. And how we can capture that? So whenever we are trying to capture that one, we need to provide that a asynchronous value, otherwise it will be having an error. So in the asynchronous value, we're going to define everything as params. So these params, there should be a particular type of that params. So the params is going to take a promise. Okay, so you need to initialize in that way, otherwise you're gonna get an error. So over here, we know in the param we should be having a Slack which is going to be coming as a string value. So that's it. Now after passing that, if we just make that const, and now if we just destructurize the Slack and that await params, we should be able to see our Slack. So right now I'm gonna log. So we are still in a server side, so we can now see that console in our server. And as you can see, Apple MacBook Pro 16-inch, so entire Slack, whatever we are just getting here, we can now see it right here, up and down. So now we can easily implement to get our products according to that particular Slack. So now to implement that one, if we go in our if we go in our particular in the Sanity, on the queries and in the index, so do we have that particular get products by Slack? No, it doesn't have it. So now we should have two particular setup. First of all, we need to set our query. So in the query, it's gonna be a query of just to get specified about that product by Slack query, and that is coming according from there is the underscore type is equal to product, and Slack.current should be the current Slack. So that could be the Slack. So now, and also the name ascending. Now whenever we are returning the Slack, it's going to return the product as an array, because a particular Slack can have multiple arrays. It's up to you if you can design, but the Grok design in that way, so it can return a multiple products if it's just kind of coming as an array. So what we need to do, we need to specify the first one. First and foremost, there could be single product altogether, but we will just pass the value as the 0 index, so it should be the first value of the array. Now what you're gonna do, we're gonna just pass that property product by Slack query. Now over here in our queries here, so should be is coming on the index. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna simply pass that parameter by which we can just get the product. Now this is a very simple and easy structural method. You know, we already implemented it several times. So get product by Slack, which gonna be a asynchronous function. And as you can see, whenever I'm using asynchronous, you see that functional all are coming at the server side. So if I have the client side, I will do it manually using that use effect parameter. So right now we're using server, so we're good to go. So get product by Slack should be a synchronous function, and by default it's gonna get a props which gonna be a Slack, and the Slack should be a string. Okay, so that's the parameter we need to pass. And in the product, our Sanity fetch query should be the product by Slack query, and in the params we're gonna pass our Slack. So now it's gonna return our product which gonna coming within the data. If nothing, null. Also console log, if having the error, we are just passing it null. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna simply pass that get product by Slack. Now over here in our particular instances, what we can do right now is that to combine it all together. Okay, so right now what I'm gonna make it that, so I'm gonna just simply go and initialize that const product is equal to should be await get product by slide. And here I'm going to pass that. If it doesn't pass, of course we have the type script. That's the beauty, and that's why lots of parameter, like every corner of the tech nowadays, you can see there is a rhythm to get that type script, because as you can see now, this is a very good expected 1 arguments but got 0. So this is the way it can be built up. So we need an argument and we are not passing any, and the argument is the slack. And now if I log our product, which is going to be coming using the Sanity, and if we save that, we should be render the entire product structure. And every time we change the product, so right now we was in Apple MacBook, so now we'll check with that we'll check with that Realme Note 60X. And when we just pass that, you can see right now we have the product which is called that I think that's the one. So it should be, so yeah, Realme 60X. Okay, so we got the product. Now there could be a minor problem on the product, it cannot be there. So we will just, because as is happening in the server side, we will just pass that if there is no product. All right, there is no product, then we're gonna just simply pass that return, and that would be just passing that not found page, which gonna coming from the next navigation. And also if, and that would be just defining to that because we didn't create that page, we will just focus to build up that not found, which coming from the next navigation to provide a proper navigation formalities. Now whenever we are coming back here, as you can see, there is no loading. But here, if we just visit in our previous application layer, you can see whenever you're gonna go, there is loading time consistency. Right now is very quick, but if you go in the new one, you see Shadcn is loading. So this loading instances is not happen to be right here, but we need to create that loading instances which can make make our life a bit of easier. So now this loading instances, it will be entirely in the client side, not in the server. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just simply make a loading.tsx rfce, and that would be our, or you can just, we'll just keep it like that, loading page. So that could be the loading one. Now what we can do right now, if you click, as you can see, there is loading. It just happened to be there once the product is loading. So now what we need to do, whenever we are initializing that loading, now our loader could be in a client-side application, could be in a server-side application. But as you're using the motion, as you can see right here, we are using certain kind of animation. You see that motion effect, which can be only coming using that motion. So as you know, the motion is not supporting in the server side, so it must be a client side, but we don't want that one should be in the client flag. So what are you gonna do, we're gonna create a simple function or simple component which can be coming on the common, and that component should be, let's say, loading.tsx or fce. So now that loading, what we can do, we can just simply bringing back here. Instead of entire things, we can just pass that loading variable. That's it. So our loading is done. Now it doesn't matter if we make it an use client or others, it will just get the hit. So let's just make it as a use client. And as you can see that there will be no minor sophisticated error. So I'm going to just bring that up because it's not that much important parameter which we are using. We're just providing the logo over here, and also we are using the motion. So should we import, and that could be coming from the motion, and that will be coming from not module, from where is our motion? We didn't import, or didn't initialize the motion. Okay, we'll just get the motion done, but before that I want to check if it doesn't have the motion yet. Yeah, it doesn't have that. So npm I motion, and if you just go in their documentation for the motion, you're gonna find a very easy and simple way to integrate. Previously it was known as the framer motion, but they upgraded it, they just use it as the motion, which is available in motion dot div. So now they make it independent. Now also if you go in the React, you can know how you can set up the entire parameter using the React proportion. I think it will just take a bit of time to install that one, and you can go over here how you can install, how you can import it. So that's the way you can simply import motion React. Be careful once you're importing that you need to specify wherever a form function and formalities you are using. So the similar here, so if we just gonna implement that, should be motion dot forward slash React, and also we need to have a loader to icon. So feel free to read the documentation as much as you can. For right now, you're gonna go back there. So now I will just specify some of the details which can be very much accessible for you. And what we're covering is that we are having a loading component here which we built, and over here we are passing a logo and passing a motion div which gonna be passing the loader icon which gonna animate a spin, and then also the a title which is gonna be shop tech is loading, and everything is fixed. Mean hide screen width full BJ wide and making left 0 top 0, so it should be aligned at the very much entire application there. You can see right now it's in localhost, so there is any kind of server call where the server needed to be loading, it will initialize, but it's kind of bit very big whenever it's coming in the local host. But whenever you are publishing the application, especially in the server side, on the you are handling any of the URL, then it will be very simple and it will not that much loading there. First, we're going to understand the structure, how we're going to build, then we're going to go to jump building. So now, as you can see over here, we have that kind of curly impactful things. Also, if you go in the shop page, I think we doesn't have any page yet right now. Also, we need to go with and bring back our accounts. Everything we're going to go one by one. We're going to make that happen. So as you can see at the top, we have a / product, whereas so this one we already happen to be done. Then we also having a to compare segment. So first we're gonna skip that because we will initialize in certain pages. We're gonna start using that from these purposes. So to build up this one, so let's go back over here. We're gonna go in our page. I'm gonna close others. And over in the page, we now be initializing everything in a very proper manner. So first of all, what we're going to do is that we're going to just wrap everything. As you can see that div, we're going to just make that within the container value. So container. And within the container, we also gonna pass that a share batch. So if we just go and create a common component, or you can go in the pages, and especially for that one is the single product pages. So it's gonna be coming that, let's say share badge share-badge.tsx rfce. So that will contain our share batch. So let's just bring that, should be share batch. That's it. So now as you can see, our share page is right now here, and of course we're gonna make that a class name. bj should be, let's say, tech bj color, and padding y, I'm gonna just provide a 10 of that padding y, which gonna be around 40 pixel. And for the container, I'm gonna keep it as it is. And of course, as you can see right now, this product, whenever we click on that, it will automatically reflect and bring back to the container, to the compare page, which is gonna affect our entire product data we are recording in our share page. So the product should be according to coming for the product. So we're gonna just pass that directly here. So let's go back to our share badge. And in the share badge, it will be a pretty simple and a pretty easy way to go. First of all, it's gonna be just passing a div. And over here, so that's is two certain kind of div going on. So one div, it will be containing, let's say, p tag, which gonna be a share. So you can easily see that one icon property, one of the compare properties. So particularly it gonna have one div, then it gonna have another div. So two div simultaneously it can be there. Now for the icons over here, as you can see, these icons I really like. So I'm going to use the icon from the React icons. So I will just use so many things at a time from different variable. Doesn't mean you will use that too. What you can do is that you can use not multiple, but you can stick on a simple parameter, which can be good for you. But for me, as I'm teaching you, I'm just trying to encapsulate as much as things is possible for you people. So now npm I react icons, hit enter, it's gonna install the icon, and you can easily get the icon. If you are with me for a long time on this channel, welcome buddy, because you know how to configure the react icons. If you doesn't know, search for react icons, then hook it up, make it good. Okay, so now first of all, as you can see, we're getting an error here, and that error is coming because we are getting a props but we didn't make it better. So we're gonna just take the props like that, and here the product should be coming as a type of product, and that product I'm gonna just make it optional. If the product is there, we're gonna just keep it as the type. So now for this particular instance, you can share, and also in that particular div, which gonna be, let's say, a p tag, and make that add to compare. So now you can see two side by side, but we'll not make them to side by side. Put a class name. We're gonna first make a border alongside with that, and that border, and then we're gonna make that border take dark, and within the take dark we're gonna make a 10% of opacity. Padding y should be 3 and px should be 6, and I'm gonna make it margin bottom of 5, rounded should be full, and also this flex item should be center, justify should be between. A lot of properties going on, but you know, it will make a sense once you know that how these things is working. I'm going to make a shadow of a small shadow, and then I'm going to make a shadow of thick dark color. Let's say shadow should be thick dark color. Okay, so right now, as you can see, that's the combination what we are having here. This is not I think, yeah, I think the page, we keep it that one as white, but this one, are you gonna keep it the normal color of that? That's also be a question of that thing. So I think instead of take color, we can just make that take white. Should be take underscore white, so it will get the white color. And for that particular instances, for the shadow color, we're gonna just provide a 10% of the opacity, so we're gonna get the similar of what we have right now in our current application. Okay, so now for the div here, what we did, so also I'm gonna make another div here. So in that div, we're gonna have ri messenger field icon, that we're gonna have if a pin in Pinterest icon, and then we're gonna have ri WhatsApp field icon. So 3 icon all together, and we're gonna make it looks better. Put a class name, gonna bring it a flex item should be center, and gap should be 1, and I'm gonna just make the text as a base text, so it should be quite affordable to do and see and make the view. So text should be small, font should be semi bold. Now it's not good to see its top and bottom. I'm gonna make it side by side, making flex item center and gap 1.5. That's it. So we are good to go, and our this part is done. Now we need to make the add to compare button. So instead of this a p tag, we're gonna just render. We can also bring the button, but as you can see, we can also customize the button. So we're gonna bring back the customized button right here. So before the button, there should be an icon which gonna be md add to photos. So it's just an icon, so no worries about that. So now what I'm gonna do, put a class name. I'm gonna make it a flex item should be center, and gap should be 1.5, and also whenever we hover, text should be take orange text, that one, and also you're gonna pass that hover effect just to show us the effect properly. So now as you can see, that's the effect which we are looking forward to. Now for the div itself, you can just make that, but I know it will be in the middle itself, so I'm gonna just keep it like that. Or you can, instead, if you don't want to div, you can just use an empty basis. It's up to you. So I'm gonna just keep the div. Now over here, you're gonna write a function. So on click, and it will be handle compare. So we're gonna use that function a lot of places, but right now as we're gonna bring it here, so we're gonna just make that const handle compare function. So handle compare function, and over in the compare, as you can see from the global, it can access the product because we have the product accessible in the global, right? So right now we're gonna just pass a simple formalities. If we doesn't have a product, dot slack dot current. If we doesn't have the slack dot current, what you're gonna do, we're gonna alert the message that please select select a valid or we can just simply pass that product slag is missing, because if we miss the slag, so if we I'm going to just go in and now check a comparison right now. And of course, as you can see, we are using the parameter of that button, so of course we need to provide that as a use client, otherwise it will not work. And the message is very clear: event handlers cannot be passed to client components props. Okay, so you need to interact. If you need interactivity, consider converting part of this to a client component. So that's what we are doing right now. So now we are just putting a convertible null value. If we doesn't have that product slag dot current, we want to showcase the error. If we click, you can see product slag is missing. So right now we have the product dot slag, and whenever we're gonna have the product dot slag, what we're gonna do, we're gonna navigate to comparison page, comparison, COMPARISON, comparison page. We selected product, and here how we can do, we can just make that window dot location. So we can go with that location dot href. So we're gonna just handling the location manually, and we're gonna just simply pass that one within the backtick, and the location should be compare. And from the compare, and we're going to pass that as a product, so that could be coming within the query, and is equal to it going to be our product dot slag dot current. That's it. So right now, if we just click to add to compare, it's going to be in the compare page, it's getting to the product and then passing the value. So means we are in good to go, we're in good shape, and we make it done in a proper way. So this is the like a very systematic approach to create that batch. So now we can do the other things. The other things that, as you can see, in the left is the image, in the right we have the overall properties of the details here, and also we have like a characteristic here by the brand, collection, type, stock. All the data is available right here. Now the problem is here, as you can see, once we click, there is an interactivity is happening, and that interactivity gonna be use client. But as you can know right now, we are not making use client whenever we want. So this entire call, entire product data, depending on that single call, and that single call is in the server side, so we cannot make that our application in the client side. So what I'm gonna do right now, after the container, we're gonna have a div. First, I'm gonna just make like a segment. So it should be, I'm gonna bring it a 2 div. So that should be one, that should be another. So the first div, it's gonna be passing that an image. So let's say image, like that, and that should be passing at details. So this is the 2 div, which gonna compare it all together. So put a class name, we're gonna make it a flex. By default gonna be flex column, and MD should be flex row, and I'm going to provide a gap of 5 in case it's collaborating all together. So now, as you can see, it's getting the hit. Now for the particular div itself, to get the quite value done in a proper manner, and also, by the way, if you click on that, as you can see, we can now scroll through. There's a lot of things need to be built up through, and every e-commerce, they have those slide of things which can make the things looks better. For this one, put a class name, and we're gonna provide by default the full height. MD should be, which should be, let's say 2 by 5, so that would be the width, and space Y should be 2, and also MD, I'm gonna just space Y, I'm gonna keep it later, but we just need to define our weight. Okay, so you can see it's not half and half, it's having different value of dimension. So that's what we are creating right now. And also for the div here, put a class name which should be by default 4, MD which should be, let's say 3 by 5. So it's gonna get a little bit of a better value, 3 by 5, and also, yeah, that's it. So now keep it like that. So you can see that will take enter, that will take enter. So now, instead of this image, we can now simply go and make an we can go in the single page, and here we can say image view.tsx. Now you know why we are separating the concern over there, because as you can see, we now know where to find and which components to get, right? So that would be a very easy way to find an situation to be done in a very handy way. So now what we need to do, instead of rendering it directly, we're going to pass that if the product.images is there. So product.images, you see we are not getting any of that like whatever is supposed to get, you know, whenever we're getting the product, we should get like product dot everything should coming up, right? But it's not coming. It's because we will define that product should be a sanity types product. So now it should be product dot images. If the images is there, only then we want to render that, and here it should be image view. And from the image view, we don't want to take everything from there, right? It's not good. We don't want to pass the entire product. So we're going to pass simply the images, and the images, because it's an array of images, should be product dot images. And also we're going to pass that is stock property, and is stock property should be handled if it's stock available or not, and that should be product dot stock. Okay, that's it. So now we have two separate values. So let's go to the image view, and over here, you know what we mean to be what we meant before to make the spectacular beginning over here. So we're gonna just simply pass that value right here, which gonna be providing everything in a good fashion. So MD 2x5. Now over here, we need to grab whatever the properties we are just now bringing from the norm. So first of all, we're gonna just pass that. Let's say it's gonna be coming as an images, and by default the images should be coming as an empty array. Whenever it's coming, it would be there. So is stock, and here we're gonna pass that as a prop. So right now we're gonna make that interface which gonna define our props, and over here you can just simply grab the entire props property from the image value. You can just go in the types file, and you can find all the files and all the value is right here. Either you can create a simultaneous segment there, or you can just bring it right here, and that's it. So now as you can see, so from where I did that, you can just go back to sanity types, and as you can see, that's everything gonna happen to be. And if I just search for, let's say, product, I want to go, that's the product. So that's the image asset property. You just need to copy that image, and for the I think for the stock, it's just gonna to be a number. That's it. So now as we have that, so now we now care for our image property value and others. So now we can bring the other things to be done directly. Now here you need to understand one more property. So whenever we are coming directly here, you just understand the concept one time. You can do it anywhere. So whenever we are coming here, you can see one image is selected. Whenever we change, the selected image is getting changed. So now what we need to do, we need to initialize separate some of the values. So I'm going to introduce three property here, and of course I'm going to just provide that use hook. And once we are using use hook, then we're not now no longer using a server side. We now need to make it as a use client. So by default, our active image is providing the image from images 0 index, and show model getting false, and also initial slide getting 0. So nothing is this two, we're gonna talk it later, but right now our active image coming as in the 0 image. So what we 0 index. So what we're gonna do right now is that in this property layer, we're gonna use an animate presence. So animate presence. So that animate presence is going to combine to provide the animation, and that animation can do whenever we click any product. You see it's not coming abruptly. There is a motion effect is happening. So that's what we are creating. And for the animation mode, we're going to keep it as wave. So that could be the mode for our animation overlay. And over here in the property, we're going to use a motion. So motion, and we need to import that motion. It's not coming at directly, so we just need to pass that. So that should be, let's say, motion. Okay, not like that. Should be motion.deep. And over in the motion.deep, we're gonna have an image tag, and that image tag contain that our source property. And in the source property, we need to provide that URL for to get our image in proper shape, and that should be our active image.url. And of course, we will provide the alternative tag, which gonna be passing that, let's say, product image. And over here, we're gonna provide weight. We're gonna get 700 by 700, and height also getting the 700. So that's it. So we should be able to see one image right now, and of course there should be some error. Okay, we get the URL, but it should be coming within a function. That's it. So now we're gonna get the image, and over here we're gonna also prioritize that whenever the page is loaded, at the first glimpse the image should be there. and also put a class name. We're gonna make a class name which should be getting the full width, and max height which we're gonna provide that 550, or I'm gonna bring that classes so it can be easily, you can just post the video and you can type that all. So width getting full by default and max height getting 550 pixel, we are passing a mean height of 450 pixel. And don't worry, because I keep that, I check the ratio which getting sweet for all the devices. Now you can tweak it down, you can make it better the way you wanna be. So it doesn't matter that whatever I provide you're gonna make it that. No, don't worry about that. Also, there should be an on-click event, on-click, but we're going to bring that later whenever we're clicking the functional behavior. So right now, also the border take dark color 10%, rounded MD group overflow hidden cursor pointer. So whenever we are coming, that should be that is happening. Yeah, that is happening. So what we need to do, we need to make that as a group or yeah, class name group, because as you see whenever you hover in the group, that time the effect gonna come. Yeah, that is working right now. And also below that, before entering in that particular okay, I made it in a wrong place, so that should be cut. This should be coming right here. Okay, that is the actual color for that, and for the color for the images should be this one. Okay, so now, and if we just make it is stock parameter as null, you can see it's getting a dark property. And also we can make that group over scale 100, so it will be just an normal scale, so no hover effect. No, okay, group hover scale, why like this? Okay, otherwise it's gonna be like that. No worries, I'm gonna provide you a solution. As you can see, so now we're gonna go in actual value right here. Okay, so now what we did right now, that's the motion property for width full, because it's getting the max and min weight, and we are providing it in the parent because we want that should be encapsulated within the parent property. And now what we did here in these instances, we're making rounded MD group overflow hidden. So what we did here, with full height 96, max height is that, mean height is the same property of 500 pixel, object content or hover effect, and rounded MD is stock. If is the product is in stock, then the opacity is getting is not in stock, opacity getting 50, and group hover scale, we're making no hover effect, like putting a normal scale property, and whenever we are having the product, it's just getting that effect. Now this is the one property is right here. So below that animate presence, now we're gonna have another div here, right? So that div gonna be images, not like that, should be images dot map, and we're going to map through every single image. And from here, what we're going to return, we're going to return a button. That button going to contain our property of the image, so that should be also an image. And as you know, the image circulation, so I'm going to just bring back the image right here. And for the button, as we are mapping through it, key should be image dot I'm going to pass that key, so that could be the key variance. So now, as you can see, what we are doing is that we are mapping to all the images right here. Also, we're going to make that a class name here, so that yeah, that class name should be flex, and flex should be wrap, and also gap should be 2, not 3, should be gap should be 2. And then also item should be center, justify should be center, to keep everything in the middle. So now for the button segment right here, we can just share as a property value right here, and we're going to just make that one like that. So what we are actually doing, as you can see, we are providing a border for all the images right here. So this is the image ratio, so all the border is getting rounded MD overflow hidden with 16, height 16. As you can see, we're providing the width full height auto object content, so it's getting from the parent. And if the active key is there, so active key is equal to the image key, means the active key and the image key is selected key, then the ring tag color, otherwise getting an empty value for the ring. So now when we click on that, so on click property is running here, we're just simply gonna run a simple function which gonna make that set active should be that let's say image. So whatever images we are capturing, it should be image, as you can see. Okay, So now our animation is not working because we didn't set the animation. Of course, we need to set it before it should work. So let's go back to our motion here. So in the motion, what we're gonna do, we're gonna pass the key so it can track through it. So should be active dot key, and after that we're gonna make that initial value, which is going to be, let's say, first of all, opacity going to be as 0. But whenever we're going to start animate on that instances, opacity should be 1, and after that whenever we're going to exit on that, opacity should be 0. And also we're going to make that transition, and the transition should be, let's say, we're going to also make a duration for okay, duration for the transition, which is going to be let's say 0.5. Okay, so that could be hit the road. And of course, whenever you are using the exit motion, you need to wrap everything with the animate presence. Otherwise, your exit will not work. Even though if I just try to, let's say, make one as comment, so I'm going to do that so that you can see that, or I'm going to just remove that one from here. And now we're going to try the exit ratio. You can see it's getting abrupt. No animation is providing. And when we are providing that animate presence, smooth coming as in weight, and you can see right now the proper animation is handling, the proper segment is getting to be done in a proper way. Now one more thing is that once you click on that particular tab, particular image, you can see that data should be initialized. To implement that one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap everything within an empty braces, because now we need to initialize a lot of other property. And now what we can do, we can also go to create a model, and maybe you need to add it, or you may not may no need to add it, but I'm going to just provide that one. So it should be, let's say, coming as a model carousel. Okay, so in the model carousel, we're gonna just pass that an animate presence, and over here we're gonna pass that if the show model is true, only then it's gonna render a motion.div. I think I'm missing okay, I got an hint. So like that, and here it's gonna pass that motion.div, and over in the motion.div we're gonna having another motion.div, and over in that we're gonna have a button. So that button gonna contain an icon. So as you can see right here, so that's the icon it's gonna contain. So we're gonna just make that icon to bring back in life. I think the icon should be just an X icon from Lucid icon. That's it. We're gonna keep it like that. So first and foremost, we need to have that effect. How we're gonna initialize, we're gonna make it active, right? So, and that could be active once the, like say, we're gonna go in that parameter of that motion div. We can either, you can make it in the image, but I'm gonna make it entirely on the div. So in the on click parameter, we're gonna just simply pass that over here, should be open model. We can, yeah, because now we need to have two certain kind of function right here, which should be an open model and another could be the closed model. And the open model, it will take an parameter index of the number, like which index, like if I click from this particular product, right? So I need to show this product first. So that's why we're gonna check the index. So the index coming to be as a number. Set initial slide should be the index, whichever number we're providing. Set show model true, document body style overflow should be hidden, and also the closed model, set show model should be false, and document body style overflow should be auto. So should be coming in a very normal and specific way. So now what we're gonna do, whenever we are opening the model here, we're gonna simply pass that or open model. So that's the function is right here, and the images and dot find index. So from the index we're gonna find our image index. So as we are having all the image index is right here, so from there I think active key, I think that could be good way, because that should be always the active key, right? So I think instead of finding, we can just simply pass that active key. I think that would be a very easy way to do that. Also we need to pass that, but I think instead of doing that one, if we can pass the entire property value right here, yeah, like that. So from the active find index images, image key is equal to okay, we are mapping through the images. So we are seeing if we have the like this index image. So if we have that image, then image key is equal to active key. So that's the key. So that's the actual key it's going to capture whenever we are bringing that to the value. So right now, if we just save that, if we come here, if we click, there is something you can see. That button is right here, but we need to make it looks better, make it looks perfect and good. So first of all, also I'm going to pass the mode should be wait, and over here at the first motion we're going to just provide that initial property, and we're going to just make that so that could be coming for the button itself here. So I'm going to just pass that value. So this is an outer value, outer layer. You can see that could be an outer layer. Fixed inset 0, BG should be tag black 50%, BG opacity 80, Z index 50, flex item center, justify center. I'm going to copy pasting lots of code here because normally maybe you are not requiring that. If you're not requiring, you can just fast forward to just go your actual whatever you're looking for. So whenever you click, you can see that value is coming. So also you're going to click and you can see it's closing the property. So now this is the one value right here, and there should be the another property here. So in that motion dip should be another layer, which gonna be BJ white. BJ, I think it should be take white. I think it will be something like that. Take white. Rounded LG max weight should be 2XL with full padding for relative. If you click here, you can see that's the value which you create. And for the button here, so which is the clickable button. So on click should be passing that close model function. So whenever we click on that, it will click also, but whenever we click outside of the model, it will click or it will close also. And then what we're gonna do right here, so first of all, and that button should not be right here in that property. You can see we make it relative at the parent layer. So passing an absolute value right for top 4 and index 10, BG white, rounded full, shadow, MD, hover, BG gray of 100, transition color. So this is the color combination what we are doing right now. And also I think keep the button as the default way. Now what we need to do to bring our carousel. So this is where the thing's gonna be pretty much good. So should be carousel. It to coming from our component UI. Be careful once you are importing those things. You need to make sure that you are getting the proper way whatever I'm explaining to you. So now in that carousel properties, we're gonna just make that a carousel content, and over in the carousel content we're gonna have that our, let's say, should be coming our images dot map. So should be coming the entire images parameter, and every single image is gonna get the property. So image, and from there we're gonna return that carousel item. In that carousel item we're gonna have a div, and then we're gonna have an image, and that image gonna have some property which gonna bring back our image property in a very sophisticated way. So should be coming right here. Okay, and hit save. And of course for the carousel item we need to provide a key value, and the key should be image / key. So that's the key value should be there. And now for the carousel itself, for the class name, and which should be full. And for the carousel, I'm going to provide an option. So start option going to be passing that. So start index should be coming initial slide. So that's going to start from there, whatever the initial value we are providing. So right now, if you can see, we close it. We want to go like from this one. As you can see, we're providing that. But if you doesn't pass that option value, it will automatically getting the first value right here. So even though if we go here, if we click, you can see it's just always getting the first parameter. So you need to provide that optional chain value to just get things done in a proper way. Now for the property for the div here, we can just simply pass that, which gonna be flex item center, justify center, height 500 pixels. So that's the image height we're gonna take. And as you can see, the similar effect. Now we need to have the button property. So for the button, as you can see, that after the carousel content, we can just simply pass that carousel previous button, and then we also make that carousel next button. So two button gonna be, you see the two sides right now, and it's not so looks so good the way we are looking forward to. Put a class name minus left should be, let's say, I'm going to provide a 10 just to I think 10 is good, or we can make a 20. Okay, I think it just go on that ratio. Let's say 5. Oh, I think no need the minus left 5. Yeah, should be like that. So it should be, let's say, 4 or 2 or 1, or you can also make it 0, left 0. So this one, put a class name, right should be 0. Okay, so now you can see this finished that one. Okay, cool. So now we are having all the things. It's getting very good and sleek. I really like that part of this. So whenever you're building, it's really entertaining whenever you are building something very simple, easy, and very good way. So now we need to start building the part where we are gonna providing our details. For the details, we need to put in a views where we can just provide all the details, like the way we can see right here. We have the title, description, and then we are having also that for the rating icon. So we need to make that thing similar of that. So you're going to take a div right here, then take a p tag, or I believe it should be better to create the h3 tag here. And over here, you're going to make that product dot name, which going to be that, and then it should be another one going to be product dot description. So that should be two property here. And of course, we will also going to be rendering one of the array of the icons right here. So as you can see, after this div here, after this p tag, we're going to create another div here. On that, we're going to go with the curly braces. Then we're going to define an array. So the array should be coming directly from a 5 property. So the 5 value would be there, and we're going to map through the array. And over here, we're going to get an underscore property, and also we're going to get that index property. That 2 property going to initialize our value props right there. So you're going to inline return over here, and over here we're going to make that star icon from Lucid React. We need to provide the key, and the key should be, let's say, we're going to make the key as the index, and also we're going to provide the size, which is going to be 12, and also let's say the class name, and the text should be tech. I think we're going to make that light color. And of course, we're going to make that as a fill color, and the fill color, we're going to just provide a small color, which is going to be coming to 3B9C, and then it's going to be 3C, just kind of for the green color here. So it could be a similar of that property here. So we can just popping off like that property indexing here. So as you can see, the star icon, it will be there, which gonna be coming up. Then also you're gonna have a p tag, which gonna provide the entire rating segment. So let's go in that div here at the top with the class name. Space y should be, let's say, 1. So that we're gonna provide. As you can see, we are not seeing the icon here. I think it's still loading the state. So we can see that our icon here, and as you can see, make it a flex item center, providing a gap of 0.5 on text. We are making just to providing an extra small text. Okay, so now we will make something other property gonna be in a bigger way. So first of all, as you can see at the top layer, we're gonna keep everything as a flex. Flex should be in column proportion and providing a gap of 5. Okay, done. So now this is our first tip. And after the initial layer of the div, we're gonna provide the other data layer. So we can just come back of the bottom layer of here. Then you're gonna provide another div, and here we're gonna provide that price view. Remember, we have that view property. And for the price view, we're gonna provide the price. The price should be product.price, and also for the discount amount should be, let's say, product.discount. Okay, so let's hit save, and that we should be having that our 330 and 350 and others, but this should be happen to be in a very proper manner. And to do that, we're going to provide the class name. Text should be LG, and font should be, let's say, bold, not black but bold. And as we did that, you can see nothing is changed here. Is because of whatever the class name we are providing here. You can see we didn't initialize the class name right there. So in the price formatter, or the price formatter we are providing right here, now we can initialize the class name props right here. So what and how we can do that is that we're gonna just grab that class name property, And over here, you're going to use the cn property here and then pass that with the class name. So the first initialization, our first one is got that value. So the second one, we're going to make the similar of that. So let's provide the cn value and then pass that classes. So let's say hit the class name and we are having that our actual data segment. Okay, that's cool. So now as we are having that, so we can now see our price view. So let's go make something better to the class name. And of course, we're going to make that as a space y should be, let's say it will be a 2. So the gap should be in a vertical 2. And we're going to provide a border t, and border t should be, I'm going to provide a gray of 200. 200, let's say border t gray of 200, and I'm going to make a padding y of 5 altogether, so that you can see there is a border scope which we are segmenting right there. And of course we can, instead of border t, we can make like we can, yeah, border t, or is it the y can actually happen, yeah, border y. So you can see that top bottom border, it can be easily like provide on that. So there should be another p tag, and on that p tag we're going to provide that if our product, so we're going to make it within a two separate segment. Let's say product dot that is stock, which is going to be as number, and that product, if it's bigger than 0, means we have the product, so that we can say it should be providing or showing that it is stock. If we doesn't have the product in the stock, we're going to provide that out of stock. Okay, that's it. So that one should be in stock as we were having the product. So right now what we can do, putting some of the class name which can really make things in a very shuffling, I'm going to just provide that one. So what we're doing there, we're providing a width, providing the text as a center, text extra small, padding y is 1.5, font semi bold, rounded LG. And if the product is, you can actually get the value, like you can easily, if we just want to make that is a stock, and then you can just provide that product dot, is stock, then you can just get the value right here. You can initialize that one, but for me I just go in a very easy way so that it can be also interactive and you can easily understand the method and mechanism. So right now, if the product stock is equal to 0, we're gonna make it a red color. If I just go and change that one, let's say not equal to 0, you can see that's the one we initialized. So right now it's already is not equal to 0, so we are getting the green color, text green, and bg green of 100. Okay, done. So we have our two separate values. So right now, as you can see, the characteristic, it will be there, add to cart and add to wish list button should be there. So we're gonna now implement those two things. So right now, this is my price view, right? So after initially finish the price view right here, we're gonna just make another div here. On the div, we're gonna make that add to cart button, and in the add to cart button we're gonna pass entire product, which gonna be passing as the product. Let's go back here, and we should be, as you can see, this is just going out of the way, it should not be. So I believe we need to make some arrangement right here. So we provide the flex column, this the one, so it's supposed to be okay. This is the property, right? Okay, I need to provide initially within this value, not out of that. So it should be inside of that. Okay, we have our add to cart value. And after add to cart, we also need to provide the favorite button. Do we create any favorite button? If we just go, no, we didn't create any favorite button yet. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a favorite button which going to handle this favorite consent right here. So let's go, we're going to put in the common. So that should be our favorite button.tsx or fce. So we're gonna just bring back our favorite button right here. Should be our favorite button. And why we are taking it in the separate component, because I still in the product, is entire product is a server side, but add to cart button, you're gonna add in the cart, and then also the click event gonna happen, which gonna be an user interactivity. So we need to make it as a use client flag. That's what we are going to do. So first of all, you're going to provide some class name, should be a flex, item should be center, and also I'm going to provide a gap of 2.5, and then LG, the gap would be just 5. So you can see it will be side by side coming all together. And here what we're going to pass, that show products, and that should be true. And also we're gonna make that product should be coming as a product. So these two property gonna initialize right there. So let's go back to our favorite button. We're gonna initialize these things in a very easy and simple way. First of all, we can just go that show product. By default, it will take a value of false value, and also it's gonna get the product. So now we can define that types for that. So show product, which is gonna be coming as, and let's say it should be coming, if it's available, it should be coming as a boolean value. And also for another one, which gonna be, let's say it's gonna be coming for the product, which gonna be coming as a type of Sanity product data layer. So now we have those segments. So as you can see right here, if we click, this is just coming right here. We can also remove that. So this is the segment we are initializing on that. So let's go and do that. First of all, we need to provide that store props. So right now, I think we already bring up the store. So no, did we have this store? We didn't create the store yet. So we need to go and bring that store. So right now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just go and initialize the button property, and that could be a pretty simple. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring that, or yeah, I'm gonna just provide the button segment, and that button segment gonna be I'm gonna go in that way, should be providing a link property, because at the top and here it will be the similar button. As you can see right here, I think I'm gonna show you once we're gonna just go interactive with that. So right now, no, instead of that link, we should be having a button. Now for the button here, we're gonna make that a heart icon, gonna be coming from Lucid React. So you can see there is an icon right here. And for the button itself, we can now combine some of the class name. And the class name itself, it's gonna be a pretty simple class name. I'm gonna just popping those things up, and then gonna so this should be not like that. I'm going to bring that entire value statement, so something like that. We're making as a group relative hover text, which should be take orange, hover effect border take orange is 880, padding 1.5, rounded SM. So this is the value which is created. And also for the heart icon, for right now, I'm gonna just provide that segment of the style, which gonna be text or like take orange, and also group hover take orange, the full entire color, the visibility is gonna be coming up. And then we need to also provide the fill color. So let's say fill, and fill right now, I'm gonna just make that FFF. Okay, so right now there is no fill color. So as you can see, this is the similar property, no fill color. And I think when we hover, we can also make some property. If we make hover, we can provide a BG, should be take orange, and we're going to provide a 10% of opacity so that it would be a little nicer. Okay, the other props, we're going to bring it very soon after explaining that, because we need to set our state, our store, everything to finish all other segment. Okay, so right now we're not using any of that button props, any of the product props right now, but we're going to use it very soon. Okay, so after initializing that button, we should be having another property which gonna be product characteristics. So we're gonna go in our common, that should be, let's say, product, CHARACTERIS.TICS.TSX. So that would be where this is just gonna be coming up all together like that. So let's go over here, and we're gonna just implement that. Product note card should be coming like that. Characteristics. So we should be happen to be see that right here. Okay, so now we need to provide that initial property. We're gonna provide that product, entire product, we're gonna pass it there. Now over here, we need to just grab the segment from the product. So we're gonna just pass that value right here. So we can also need to import that product from the type. Now what I'm gonna do for our initial value property, it should be coming just an accordion. So you can just go the Lucid React, and you can just get your accordion, and then also you can happen to be have the idea how those things can work. I'm going to explain that one to you. So I'm going to just import that, and also I need to get the trigger. Be careful, you're taking everything from the UI, otherwise you're gonna get a problem right there. And of course we need to get the brand right now. Okay, I'm gonna explain that what actually we're doing. So it should be similar like here, and that should be an asynchronous function, and that should be coming as a great brand. So that should be coming. I'm going to create that. So right now, just skip that two part. Otherwise, keep everything, whatever is right here. I'm going to just show that to you what actually we build up right here, that you can really understand it very easily. You can see here on the accordion, we're getting entire product here. And of course, you need to get the accordion up from the Shadcn UI. And then as you can, in the trigger, we are providing the product name and the characteristics, which is coming here, right here, the product name, then the characteristics, which by default, it's gonna be hide. So it's gonna be hidden. As you can see right here, we make it collapsible. And over here, first segment getting the brand, then passing the brand name. Of course, in our product, brand name is still not there, so we will fetch it in real time. In the collection, we're providing a dummy collection. In the type, we're providing the product variant. In the stock, we're providing available or out of stock. So you can see it's available, or also you can make the total value. Like you can also put that, if I just get that, you can also put that quantity, so that you can see the quantity segment. So now over here, if we have, let's say we're gonna just if we have the product.stock, we're gonna just make that one product.stock. So stock. And otherwise, if it's no stock, we're gonna make it as zero value. So now you can see how much product is available. So this is how you can implement. And for the brand, what we can do here, we need to create another segment right here, which can help us to provide the brand. And for that one, we're going to go in Sanity. We're going to go in our query. So in the query, we need to provide the segment. So first of all, we need to have that our brand query. So I'm going to just go in our, let's say, in the query. So in the query, what we're gonna do, we're gonna make a brand query. How it gonna do? It's gonna go directly in the defined query underscore type is equal to be as a product. That slack.current should be the, it will always go the particular current slack because it's gonna provide the single brand. Then I'm gonna get that key as the brand name and provide that brand title should be providing there. So right now, let's just import that brand query. And after that, let's go back to our index right here. And there we can just simply return that function, which gonna provide us to our brand. So we're gonna provide the brand query like that. And of course, we need to provide the slack. So whatever product we are there, we need to pass. Like I want to get the brand for this product. What if I want to get the brands for other products? So that's the way we need to provide that product slack to get the individual product right there. Okay, so that should be get brand. Now over here, we can just simply grab that as it's gonna be an asynchronous function. We can simply get the brand directly there. So should be get brand sanity queries. So like that. Right now, we should be able to get the according to the current slack, and over here, if the brand is there, we're gonna get the zero index, the first index, which gonna be coming up for the brand. So I need to reload because whenever it gonna mount that thing's gonna be calling there. Okay, right now we can't see any of the brands directed on that. So let's just go and log through that. So let's go and click on brand and we can inspect whatever we are receiving right now. So it's coming in array. So in the console, getting an array. And as you can see, the brand's name is actually getting null. So first of all, instead of that, let's just roll back to our product to see what kind of product value we are having currently so that we can understand. Now over here, as you can see, we have created, updated, slack, price. We are not getting any of the brand data. But we are providing the slack, right? So according to the slack, it should be providing that the brand data. So right now, what we can do, we can go in our, let's say, we can go directly in our get brand property here. And over here, we can just simply log our, let's say, we're gonna log that product, which gonna returning that product. And let's say in the product we are having a data in the data query, in the brand name is null, and also I think we need to change the tag name here, which is we are providing the brand name. I think that could be changed in some way. So let's say if we go directly in our, let's go in our leave, in our sanity types, and let's go in our, let's say it gonna go yeah, we have the band's type. So the name title, okay, title is defined like that. Okay, I think there the error should be very, very minor error. So the brand, we're gonna take that particular key which gonna be providing that brand the title. So this is the brand, that could be the title, yeah, that should providing that. So we need to provide that get brand initialization. So the query is not returning any of that. Okay, we are not receiving our brand, so that could be a problem. But in our real in the life, I think we are having okay, also it's having a problem right here. Okay, so that could be a minor strategic problem right here. Maybe we missed to make some segment right there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go and prefetch, not this one. I'm gonna go in our live, and over here we will just get our admin studio just to see what's the mismanaged things we did. So we are now seeing our product right here, and this particular product, as you can see, okay, the categories brand. Okay, this is not adding to any of the brand. Yeah, that was the problem. So if we just go, let's say make that Hitachi Limited. So let's publish that. So we are not engaging any some of the product. I think that's also happened to be in the live. Some product already included the brand. So we took the list of the product which is not included the brand. So I think that was the problem for us and for other setup also. If we go any other product, right, this one over here. So if we go and make, you can see, yeah, that's having the brand. So the same thing is gonna happen with this entanglement here also, right? As you can see, if we go in Apple, so there the brand is right there. Yeah, so that is the problem. Okay, so this is the one product which we didn't set up the brand, and that is the product which you're calling. Okay, that's really cool. Okay, now we are having our characteristics. So as you can see, we are providing that segment here. Now after, so this segment, this part here, we need to provide some of the compare things here, and this is some of the dummy things which can really make it looks little nice and better. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just simply go and align those property here so that we can easily go and fix that. So this is the same what I want you to say, this the things you can really like do the way you feel better. So I'm gonna just put that, and of course we're gonna explain that so that you can easily contradict with that scenario. And for that one, for this particular segment, the 4 icons, what is right here, I'm gonna just get from our React icons. Okay, so what actually we're building right now, I'm gonna just go a little bit waiting for that to be appearing. Yeah, that's the one, the similar property of that. Now what we did right here, you can also make that compare color, which is just providing a flex property, flex wrap. So just providing a wrapper, and then providing the compare colors, exclusion, delivery return, and share button. Okay, and after that, also what we are going to do is that providing another segment, like to make that things a bit of clear and a bit of nicer things. And of course, I'm going to also provide that one predefined after this block. So gonna be coming like here. So of course, we need to get that icon, chevron left, and also the icon for the truck. Okay, so now what actually we are dealing to make it better is that this is just the provide of text, free delivery, enter your postal code to deliver, availability, return delivery, which gonna be going through the return delivery segment. So this is the things generating just for your idea to get it better. You can see that can be already done in a simple way, and of course the code, it will be available to you, so you can have a little bit look how the things can be done and how you want to make it done. Okay, so this is the way we just now we got to finish our like the single page data layer. So if we go any of the product single, we now know how to go back there, how to set things, and how to do things in a better view. So right now, if we go for our account, and as you can see right here, we need to go set up our segment for our account status, because we need to create the login authentication. So before creating the login authentication, also we need to set another properties which gonna handle handle all of our state, like for mutating the state or to providing the store, which is going to be a pretty much cool of that. So we need to provide that one first, then we're going to go and make the other things appear by so. And to create this store, we love to use that Shadcn. So this is the library which we are going to use that to build up our store segment. And if you go in their documentation, this is a very simple and very easy way which you can use, and you can just initialize your entire segment. So from the intro, you can go with the installation. I need to copy that one. So let's go back to our terminal. We'll just simply go and why I'm loving to use that, because there is not like the just not like the for the other parameter which we have the Redux toolkit. You need to go put a wrapper and initialize. That is very simple to go and create a single file, then you are good to go. So I'm going to just create a simple file here which is going to be store.ts. so this is the file which is going to handle our store property and handle entire segment from there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to import that three segment, going to be coming a product, also going to be coming the create and the persist, which going to be also happen to be called as the middleware, which gonna set the entire preset for our middleware data segment. So right now we need to provide the value props, provide the entire initializations in a way so that we can just go and mix everything in a proper value. Okay, so now we'll go one by one. So first thing first, we need to create one segment. Should be, let's say, use. We're gonna make that card store, or you can define any store if you like, and that gonna be coming from the create. And from the create, we're gonna go with that store state. So right now we're gonna just define an interface here. Let's say you're gonna be make that interface, and that should be store state. And that state gonna be defined that, let's say I'm gonna provide an items. So items gonna be, let's say it will be the card item, an array of card item, and the array of card item, it's gonna be just coming to passing that as the card item, gonna be product as the product, quantity as the number, and that should be an array of value. Every product gonna have, every card item gonna have a product and then the quantity as their number. So this is the store state which we are going to initialize this segment. So we need to just provide that store state. Of course, we need to provide only the first value, and from there we will define that functionality, and over here we will call that persist, and that persist is going to be similar as a Redux persist, which we are using the Shadcn middleware, which is going to help us to save the data in our local storage. So even you just reload the data, it will be there. And from there you're going to get the set method, you're going to get the get method, and initializing the value, it would be very simple. We're going to pass everything within an object, and the object, we're going to first get the items. The item should be like an empty array of the items. So, and right now, as you can see, we have no items here, right? And as we're having no items right now, also we need to provide initialize that like our storage. So for the name of the storage, I'm going to provide that card store. Okay, so that is the simple program by which we can initialize the property, initialize the value props. I think this should not be providing the error. Okay, I'm going to go one more time because this setup is a little bit crazy. So if you did one more time, it would be very simple to go on that way. So first of all, we are having the items which is just to provide and the value of that, and later on we need to go do the other things. Or I think we are actually, I think we're good. You're good in that way. So I'll just go initialize on that. It should be here, and then the name, yeah, it should be here. Then it's gonna be coming that as a card store. Okay, forget about the error because we need to popping up so many things right here. So right now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna popping up entire statement which we are going to deal with that. So as you can see, we have our add item property, which is a function by which we can add the item. We have the remove item, also a function. We have the delete card product coming as a function, getting the as a product ID, getting for the props. This one coming as a props for the product. We have the receipt card, with just receiving the entire card. We're gonna have the get total price, also a function gonna return the number. Subtotal price, also a function, return the number. Get item count, returning the entire item count. Like I have a product like this product having a 3 quantity in the card, so this 3 value is gonna be returned within that get total I think for the get total price of that. And then also get item count, get group items, favorite product, add to favorite, remove from favorite, and receipt favorite. So this is the data layer layer which we're going to use to initializing all of our state segment in that properties. Okay, so let's go to make that one within this entry layer. We're going to add one by one. The first method gonna be coming for the we need to also provide that favorite items, which gonna be a favorite product. By default it's gonna be as an empty. So the first initialization, we need to provide that add item, by which we're gonna providing the adding item to our card. I'm gonna just bring that to you and explain that so that you can have a better understanding on that segment. So let's just do that. For the adding item in the card, what actually we are doing, first of all, when we click on that any of the product, we are calling that add item, and props we are passing that our entire product statement. And from the state, what we are actually checking, the state is the state which we are having right here, the items, right? So what we are checking right here, we're making the existing item. If the state.items.find, so if in existing item we are providing that item.product.id is equal to whatever the product we are passing that, so means like I click one product to add in the cart. So this product is already happened to be in the cart. So means this product is already added. I no need to add entire segment. I'm going to just update the quantity. So that's the variation we're going to say. So if I have the existing item, what I'm doing is here is just adding the quantity as one. Otherwise, just replacing that item just to passing a fallback. And also if it doesn't do that, it will be fine, but just to case fallback property. And in else, we are providing the items, and in entire items, we are passing that product, and every single product, it doesn't have the quantity, right? So if it's not an existing product, that product doesn't have the quantity, so we need to add a variable called quantity, and we are putting it 1. So whenever the first we are putting it 1, we're going to have the product now next time we can just update the quantity. So this is the function to make our add to cart. And we're going to also make another one which going to be a remove item. So this is the add item, that could be the remove item, and the remove item we're passing in product ID. So what we are doing, we're just making the entire items state.item. We are making the reducing the item, we're matching with the product ID, and if the quantity is bigger than 1, as you can see, we are minusing that, and otherwise we are pushing that item by so far. So we are just going to make that property, we are just removing the item segment. And after that, we can also make that one delete cart product, right? So this is the remove item. You can increasing. So as you can see, if you're just coming right here, so I'm going to go at the home just to show you what actually I'm meaning on that. If I just add, you can see it's already added. So if we click, you can see it's increasing the quantity. So they cannot, stock is only 1, so I will just do that one, add to cart, then I can increase. You can see right here I can decrease. So this is the function gonna happen to be that remove item value gonna action on that. Okay, so after that, we're gonna also having that delete product, delete from cart. So that's gonna be passing in product ID, and from the ID we're getting that state.items.filter, and whatever the product is, we are passing that, we are removing that and keeping all other products right here. And after that, also I think this is other value is pretty similar. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring it all together. Okay, so the next one is coming for the particularly is that to be as the receipt card, which gonna be putting entire items property as an empty array. So means is coming the initial value. So this is the call for getting the total price. What it's doing is that getting the entire items and then providing the total price, because for the price we are multiplying with the quantity. So that's the returning the entire price value. Also providing the subtotal price. Remember, we have one discount price. So as you can see right now, this quantity value here, like the item value. So this is our discounted price. Like we have the actual and also having the actual price. So this actual price gonna be coming included with the discount. This is without the discount price. So now this is the segment which actually providing us the subtotal price. That also we are providing that get item count, whatever the item count you're having in our cart. So as you can see, that's the value is providing. Also getting the grouped items, also providing the add to favorite, kind of similar of that for add items. So you can just go on that property. Also getting the remove from the favorite, which is removing from the favorite property, and receipt favorite, putting entire favorite segment as a returning on that initialization. So now this is the function which we have been created. After creating, we need to also make that export default, and here use card store. So now we can use the card store anywhere we like. We can make the things can be done in a proper way. So what I'm gonna do, so right now let's go back to our add to cart button, right? So let's go add to cart button. And in the add to cart button, we can now start working. Right now, as you can see, we have no or nothing to be initialized. Or before that, we can also make that, let's say, card icon here at the top. So this is coming for the card icon. So now we can just provide the actual value here instead of providing that from there. So what we can do right now, we can make that const, we can provide the items, and that should be is equal to use card. I think use card store. Yeah, that's the one we're gonna use. Now from there we can simply get that items, right? And of course, whenever we are doing that, we need to also follow some of the variable, because the Shadcn is not supporting in that server side, because it's a client side interactivity is there. We need to provide that use client segment. Okay, done. So now as we did that, so after that we can just simply provide that if items.length is there, providing the item.length, otherwise keeping the 0 value. So right now in the card, as you can see, we added 3 is coming from the local. So as you can see, this is the 4, so this is the 3 value. So from which value actually we are added? I think this is coming up from some of the property here from the previous application layer. I think the similar name I have been keeping. So in the application, we can go right here, local storage. As you can see, the card store, I'm going to just delete that and reload. So I think in supposedly, yeah, this is now in empty value. So right now we have no items in the cart. I'm going to go in our add to cart functionality. So right now what we're going to do in our add to cart button here, so to make that happen, first of all, I need to provide that some of the value here. So should be coming with an object, use card store. And on that particular card store, we're going to get 2 property. One property should be add item, another property get item count. So in that, we're going to get that value. Also item count, let's say item count should be is equal to get item count. And here we're going to pass that product.id. And of course, as we did that, we need to provide that as a use client flag. Now you know why we are separating the concern from our server-side rendering. We're keeping it everything as a client-side interactivity because of that reason, so that we no need to make our entire property as a client-side, only those portion which having, because as you can see right here, our this entire segment is not, so if you just go back in the product, this is only that functionality here at to cart button is the client-side, other everything is the server-side. The same thing also happening right here. Now what we can do also, we're gonna initialize another property right here, which gonna define that out of stock, which gonna be product.stock is equal to 0. So right now we're gonna create a function. Okay, so before creating okay, we're gonna create the function, then we're gonna do the other things. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna make that, let's say, on click, and that should be handle add to cart. And of course we're gonna make that button should be visible when that should be out of stock is true. So that should be, let's say, visible is out of stock, and we need to call that function at the top. So const, that should be coming up with the function property. Okay, so right now as you can see over here, this button should be we need to provide a visible color flag. So that should be, yeah, we need to provide the visible color. So what we can do here, we can make that visible. We're gonna make that opacity should be, let's say, 50. As you can see, I think opacity 50, I think that's cool. Okay, yeah, so you can see right now this is not valuable anything. And also whenever visible hover, I'm gonna make that bj transparent. Is it gonna work? Okay, it will directly go on that. So I'm gonna make that orange, and that will be coming with that 50. So that's the opacity is coming like that. No, or we can make that hover none. Okay, I think, okay, I'm gonna just remove that. So let's just keep it in a simple way. Or instead of that, we can simply go with that. Yeah, so whenever it's visible, we can make that as a 50 alongside not to opacity. So now as you can see, yeah, that is very cool. So if you also go with let's say 70, yeah, so yeah, that's enough. So now what we can do here, so we can make a sub of the scenario or segment here. So now what we can do, if we have the, let's say we will make the condition to make it better. So right now, if we have the product.stock, so is stock is available, the simply we can do. So if the stock is bigger than the item count, so right now is out of stock, this is kind of like not the property which you're looking. So I'm going to go with the simple functionality. So what I'm going to do is that if the product dot stock is available, which going to be coming as a number value, so it's bigger than coming for the item count. So whatever the item count is bigger than that, then what I'm going to do, add item, and over here we're going to provide that our product. Okay, so every time we can pass that, and also you're going to pass that the toast, let's say toast toast. We didn't set the toaster yet, I think so. So let's just check if we are happen to be, let's go back in our packages. Did we get that? No, we didn't get that one. So I'm going to go npm I, you're going to initialize the React hot toast for our project. You can go in the npm, and in that package library, you can simply search for the React hot toast. This is a very tiny bit of library, which providing a lot of functionality by which we can really make things very easy and cool. So this is the library we are using, we are going to use. And we can just decipher using the use toast, and then we're gonna go, as you can see, that's the simple way we can combine and do the good things for our application. So first of all, what we're gonna do, we're gonna make to go back to our actual the app layout. So let's go back to our layout here in the app, and over here at the top we need to import that our toaster. So let's go back at the top, we're gonna import the toaster, and after importing that, so as you can see, we are having the body. So after the body, we need to initialize those properties. So what I'm gonna do to enabling that one, I'm gonna just pass that. Okay, providing a background color black, the text color which gonna be white. So now we're gonna get the toast from the React hot toast. So now as you can see, it's simply enabling the toast. Now we're going to pass that toast dot, let's say it should be coming as a success message, toast dot success. And in the success message, we're going to go with the backtick property, because we're going to go with that, let's say product dot name dot, we're going to make the substring, we're going to provide a maximum value of 0 to 112. And there we can pass that, let's say dot dot dot, add it successfully. That's it. So that's the message we are going to pass. So if we go right here, click, as you can see, Apple MacBook added successfully, and this is the product is added. If I add twice, it's gonna add twice, but that value can be coming as an altogether. So right now, this is the value which we are looking forward to. So okay, this cool. So also we're gonna, if in the else condition, we're gonna pass simple value over here. If this is out of stock, like the value is not available, we can just pass that. So like that, we have, let's say we have 9 here. So I'm going to go add, as you can see, after adding 5, we can add no more. So now, as you can see, that's the similarity, that's the functionality we need to provide in between. And of course, we're going to do this one by so far. And how we can do that? So this is the function which going to happen once we doesn't have any, like the item count is not available, like it's 0, right? So I'm going to take another div, and over here we're going to get that if the item count available, going to have something, let's say we're going to provide another div, let's say the product, I think available, and otherwise I'm going to keep that the same. Okay, so now as you can see at the top, you can see the product available, but this one nothing. If we click the product available, so now here we need to provide two separate value property by which we can make it look a little bit nicer, cleaner, and better. So first of all, in that value here, we in the div, we're going to have another div, and then providing a span value, we're going to passing that a quantity button here, and that quantity button gonna just provide that quantity, and also providing the subtotal here. We're gonna provide that, so this is gonna be coming a quantity button. So I'm gonna go and create another component which going to be quantity buttons.tsx. or FCE. So that would be our quantity buttons. I'm going to bring that buttons right after that quantity buttons. So this of course y is, I think, did we have that? I think we are okay. We didn't import it yet. So quantity buttons, yeah, that was the problem. So right now, as you can see, we should be able to see the quantity buttons right here. Okay, so after passing the quantity buttons, we need to make it a little bit nice and clean. Put a class name, make a flex, item should be center, and justify should be between. So it's gonna be side by side all together. As you can see, this side by side, this side by side. So this is how we can manage. Now for that div, put a class name, text should be sm, and we're gonna take the full weight, the property. And after that div, we're gonna having another div which gonna passing the span tag, gonna be coming as the subtotal property, and after subtotal gonna passing the price formatter, and in the price formatter we're gonna pass the amount, gonna be, let's say, product dot price, and the price, if the product price is there, should be coming on that product dot price. And after that we also need to passing that item dot into item dot quantity. I think, yeah, should be coming up, if the item is there, should be coming on that item count. Otherwise we're gonna, okay, not like that, otherwise we're gonna keep it as 0. So as you can see, we're gonna having the actual count value here. Now for the div here, put a class name flex, item should be center, and the justify should be, let's say, between, and we're gonna provide a border t and also padding t. So padding top should be 1. So this is the one which we are talking about. Now for that statement here, for the particular span tag right here, we're gonna also provide this one as like that. I think should be coming something like this. And also this one, the similar property gonna be wrapping up together. Okay, should be like that. Okay, so text is extra small font should be semi-bold. So as you can see right now, we're getting the actual value. So right now this is coming, so the value is right now, so this is okay, let's go. If we just go and add one iPhone, you can see right now the quantity. So we need to go work with the quantity buttons. So this value is looking good, and so to do the other initialization, we will go in our quantity buttons, but we need to pass the product in our quantity button. So the entire product statement, we are going to pass it over there. So we're going to roll it up there, which again, a button should be initialized and make things in a very, very cool and easy way. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to having separate statement for the particular component. We're going to have the product, and in some point for the quantity buttons, because the quantity buttons we are using here, and also the quantity buttons we're going to use right here at the over here, going to be similar properties. So that's the way we need to create a very, very easy and a sophisticated layer. So we need to pass all the property right here, going to be passing from not like that, passing from the props. And from the props, we're gonna get our product, we're gonna get our class name, we're gonna get our border style. So whenever we are gonna initializing those property, and of course we're gonna get some more value is right here, which gonna coming from our register property. You can pass it as from the props, but I love to get it directly here. Add item, remove item, get item count, and the similar things it is took value. You can also pass it by the props if you are looking forward to, but I will just go and clean a slate so that we can understand it in a very, very easy and simple way. So right now what we can do here, this is the div which gonna settling entire statement. So in that div, we're gonna first we're gonna having a button, and that button gonna contain an hi minus icon. So minus hi. I think these two icons I need to get from the hero icons, not hero icons, the React icons. So I'm gonna go with a high minus. So minus. So this is the one icon property for the one particular button. Then after that button gonna be an span tag where we're gonna pass that item count, and after that gonna be happen to be another button, and that button gonna be getting that, let's say, high plus. Okay, so this is the three segment which we are handling together. As you can see, the button is getting a little bit not so good. We're gonna make it looks better. So first of all, put a class name, and over here we're gonna use that, let's say, the property of our friend called CM. And over here we're gonna pass that, let's say, it's gonna be a flex item should be center, gap should be 1, and then we're gonna make the text should be the base text for everything. And of course we're gonna pass that border style. Also you're gonna pass the class name if we are passing. Okay, for the button here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna pass the variant should be, let's say it would be outline, and also we're gonna make the button, the side should be passing that as icon. So this is the two statement gonna be working for all together. And then we also make the class name which should be 6, height should be 6 for the enter button statement. We're going to provide a border of 0, should be no border statement, and hover bj should be take orange. Okay, border should be 0. Also you're gonna hover, we're gonna make that, let's say bj should be take orange. I think we're gonna go in that, and that should be 20%. And hover, let's say cursor should, I think we're gonna make simply a hover effect property. That's it. So right now the similar statement right here you can see, so the same property is gonna also happen to be right here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, the same three things I'm gonna copy, and then I'm gonna pass within that button itself here, so that you can see this is pretty nice and clean. Now for the span tag right here, put a class name. We're gonna make the font should be semi-bold, and then our text should be small text, which should be 6, and also text should be, let's say, in a center line, and a text should be take dark. Okay, so right now we can see the property layer value. So this is the similar what we are having here. So right now, as you can see, this button is not doing anything. So what we need to do is that create the function. Okay, so we're gonna create two separate function which gonna be handle, let's say it should be handle that should be remove product. So one would be the remove product, and another should be coming as an add product. So these two functions we're gonna use, and of course the disable property gonna be valued whenever is out of stock. So now these two value, the two function gonna be working in a similar fashion, the way which we have been done in previous value property. Of course we need to get the toast. So what we are doing whenever we are removing the product, as you can see, we are providing the remove item. If the item count is bigger than 1, so if the quantity decrease successfully, if that also otherwise, like the remove successfully, we are removing the entire product. So right now, if we click, you see 4, so quantity decrease successfully. So click, if the item is 1, we cannot go with like less than 1. So what we're doing, we're removing the entire product. And also for increasing property, the similar value which we have been created, handle add to cart, we are providing in the add to cart add item, and then passing the value. So this is the simple symphony to provide our add to cart product. As you can see, it's pretty simple. If you go back right here in our single setup, as you can see right here, not so good looking. How we can fix that? Because there is some problem is happening in our client, in our product, in that particular instances wherever we are having our add to cart button, right? So how we can fix those scenario? But remember, in by default we are also passing the props, right? So what we can do, we can provide the initial color segment, initial property segment, by which we can deal with those statements. So what we can do right here, I think this is the add to cart button. So we can simply pass the variable. Let's go add to cart button. So we are passing that add to cart button. I think we'll take one property which gonna be full, and the height should be by default is going to be taking 12. Flex item should be center, just to initialize the value. Okay, cool, we're good to go. So now we're having a very good initialized value here. Even from this product ratio, if we try to enable the product, you can see, cool, we are now having it. So now you're having those entire segment done in the way you are looking forward to. Now we're going to set our authentication using Clerk. So first of all, let's go back to our clerk.com, and in that website you need to first, let's go I'll make the sign out, right? So if you have a user if you're having a Gmail account, you can simply go in sign in, and the similar way you can just go directly sign in if you're having that Gmail account. So I'll just go with that. You can also go and initially try the sign up version on that. So I'm going to go and sign in using the Google, and then I'm going to use my one of my account which I'm choosing to just go by with that particular instances for this application. And over here I need to create an application. So first of all, you will not see any application here. Maybe you need to set an workspace. So I'll just, you can manage here if you want to do whatever the default parameter is, that I'm just keeping it as much as it is. So I'll create an application right here, and I'm going to provide a name for that. Let's say it will be ShopTech YouTube. Okay, that's the name. So I'll use the email, I'll use the Google, and also I'll go another one which will be my GitHub with application. So these three fundamental scenario can access within my application layer, and I can directly inject that within my application. So this is the Next.js setup for that. I'm going to copy this command right here, and then in my another terminal right here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just paste that just to install the Clerk Next.js. And after that, what I need to do is that I need to get that code from here. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to copy entire code from there. Then I don't want to show that, so I'll just paste that directly here. So that will be something like next Clerk publishable key and Clerk secret key. So you need to also keep that two key in your .env file, and you are good to go. After that, there should be another file in directly certainly sit in our middleware setup, and of course we are going to set our own middleware, not the middleware which the Clerk is providing. Of course we're going to keep that. Beside, we're going to also use our own middleware to do so many performance and action. But first of all, I'm going to keep the Clerk one right now. Now this command, I need to copy this entire segment. Let's paste it right here. So this is the one is handling the middleware setup for my application right now. And after that, what I'm going to do is right now, as you can see, it's mentioning here how I can get that. So I need to go in my layout, and remember, especially it's not about only that particularly in my client. It should be wrapping entirely within my application. So what we need directly is that we need to get that entire segment. So especially for the Clerk provider. So I'll go in my, let's go directly. I'm going to minimize everything, close others, and from the app I will access my layout right here. And in the layout, as you can see, we have everything. Okay, so what I'm going to do, as you can see that HTML, beside that I'm going to wrap everything with that, and I'm going to just bring that Clerk provider. So Clerk provider, yeah, it's not showing me that. So we can simply just copy this entire thing, and let's go at the top right here. Okay, I think there should be an mismanipulation. Okay, I'm going to paste it here first. Okay, so now from there I will remove these others because I will only use that Clerk provider right here. So I'm going to copy this entire HTML parameter, and then I'm going to cut it, and then let's put that Clerk provider. So Clerk provider, and that's it. So now what happened is that our entire application is now wrapped with our Clerk provider, so we can now initially use that from anywhere we're looking forward to. And there is an error which we're facing, is that maybe a turbo pack error. Okay, it's loading. Yeah, it's disappear. Okay, again it's saying there it's coming from that I think add to cart button right here. So I think we can fix that. Add to cart button, it's supposed not to be there. I'm gonna go on my add to cart button. You know, this should not be there. What's the changes we have been done? I want to see right now. Okay, so this is our add to cart previous. This is the latest one. Okay, spend tag amount and any changes is right here. So the button, no, nothing, not that much. It's just some of the time, especially if you are facing those changes, those problems, so it's supposed not to be there. You can do one more thing, is that you just minimize everything, remove that .next file, .next folder. You know, I'm there is like there can be a caching problem whenever you are having those you are getting this uncertain error. So you can remove that .next and then again run your server and it will be good to go. So now we have our Clerk provider embedded, and how we can initialize that. As you can see, there is that sign in, sign out, and other parameters. So we will directly go in our account, especially for, let's say, it will be I think is in header. So header, and in the account button we can now incorporate and bring everything. So from here, let's say I'll bring that sign in button. Okay, just to test that one. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, of course it will go directly in the login and register, right? I'm gonna just comment that, and let's say it will be sign in button. That's it. So that's the sign in button. It's already taking the reload option, so it's better. Now if I click that one, as you can see, there will be something gonna happen. As you can see, it's popping up in a separate file, separate route here, separate page where I can see those, and it's supporting my also the theme for direct theme procedure. I don't want to be it's that to be there, so I can just make that mode, and mode should be model. Okay, so it will be opening in like within my application internally passing as a model. If I click here, you can see the model. It will okay, I think, yeah, it's still okay. Yeah, that one is just crashing here. Okay, okay, I think it's the best way. Alongside not keeping that, I think I need to make this entire segment commented, and then let's pass that sign in button, and on that button I'm gonna pass the mode, and the mode should be model. Okay, so now if we go directly within our particular instances here, and if we click that button, as you can see, the model is right here. If we click using the Google, even though I didn't inject or interlink with anything, I should be able to see that. As you can see, I can just go directly within the login parameter, because the Clerk is handling. You don't need to have any other parameter, because it's going to extract that email only. And whenever you are logging at the first user, as a first user, as this entire application, you're gonna coming up with those things, some of that systematic overflow here, because we're using is free, and yeah, you need to verify as a Cloudflare. They're hosting with the Cloudflare, and Cloudflare security is one of the best one. I'm personally using it. You can try it also. So now, as you can see, the sign in button is right here, but we can just use that user button. Right, there is another button which called the user button, and it will be right here, and that user button, as you can see. Okay, so we can just make that like interpreted that if there is user, it will not be there. If there is no user, it will not be there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just make sign out right now, so that and I'm gonna remove the entire segment here, because this is not our purposes to just to use these formats, because we are going to create two separate pages where because we have the auth directory, right? So in the auth directory, it will be managed directly, and we're gonna handle it in a very different way. And how we're gonna do that? In the auth, we're gonna create a file, but before creating the file, it will be creating a folder called assign-in. So this is the sign in parameter coming from, especially from that Clerk, and there should be a double third bracket, then spreading it as the rest parameter, then closing that curly that brackets, and then page.tsx. So this is the thing you need to be very careful once you're embedding that. You can see it auth sign in dot rest, then within that this show it says to directory right here, then the page.tsx. I'm going to close the entire others parameter, and then what I'm going to do primarily within this motion is that, so first of all, I'm going to go like, let's say I'm going to just, we used to make that RAFCE. I'm going to create a different kind of function here. So export default, and there should be a function, and I'm going to name is that sign in page. So sign in page, and there's a functional component. That's it. And from there, I'm going to return. So return, and I'm going to return a div from here. So div, and on the div, let's say just put a p tag, should be coming as a sign in. Okay, so that should be the sign in parameter. But right now, and also there should be a sign up, the similar parameter. As you can see, sign in rest. So this is the sign in, and over here in the auth, so it should be the same instances. As you can see in the auth, I'm going to create a new file, and here it's going to go directly as a sign and up, because we need to go directly in this parameter because Clerk is working in that way. So sign up dot rest and finishing that, then base.tsx. And of course, the similar functional parameter, I'm going to just copy that and then I'm going to paste it. And instead of sign in, it will be sign up. So these two separate pages is right there. But right now, once I click, as you can see, it's coming account/account. So I'm going to go and create those files right here. So as you see, we have that coming back directly within the layer. So especially in the client, it should be coming as account directory. So in the client, it should be coming an account directory, not should be change it account, and this account is gonna hold another. So this is the entire root file for the account. And also I'm gonna access that another account. So because this is the ledger which gonna handling so many account route account parameter, and that's why we are making it separate. But we're gonna set our route in a dynamic way, so it will read it only as an account page. This one we can just go RAFCE, that should be account page. Okay, so right now we should be able to visualize that we are having one account page, not like any other, but we are doesn't having what we are looking forward to. And this account page also going to having a wrapper, because this is not just a simple pages right here. Especially if you go back to our shoptechratepedia.com, you can see right here whenever we are logging in, means we're coming with actual login parameter. We can log in with the Google and GitHub others. If we logged in, there is a certain kind of separate arrangement on that, especially for the user. As you can see, this is the one. You see the account. If we click on orders directly, you can see the shift is changing. It's getting a different format. If I go in the account directly, that shift is coming in different way. So right now we're gonna keep it as simple as possible, because we just want to see that our pages is activating. But now we need to set up our middleware in a different way. So this middleware will not let us to activate or access this particular route without logged in. So what we're gonna do right now, we can log in. See, we are now coming here, even we are logged out, even we doesn't have a user, we can log in, but it's supposed not to be, it should not work in that way, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go in our middleware. We need to handle a certain kind of scenario by which we will not let the user to visit, like if our route is working. So what we're gonna do, we are going to create a separate segment, which gonna be, let's say we're gonna comment it, should be create route matchers. Okay, it should be called a matchers for protected routes. So it's gonna handle what routes is protected, what is not. So const is protected route, and that route going to make that create router matcher. And of course that's gonna be coming from, because as you see, we're gonna here our next server here, our Next.js is gonna be working as a middleware to just to as a watcher, similar like that. As you can see, it's coming from the Next server, so it has to access all the Next.js functionality. And here we're gonna just pass an array of that list, and first one it's gonna go should admin, and there we're gonna directly inject on that dot, we're gonna put that asterisk mark. So it's gonna take whatever the admin route has, it should not access, it should be called as a protected route. So this alongside, we're gonna keep the 4 route. One would be admin, one that should be account, then cart, then wishlist. This 4 route, any user cannot be accessing those 4 routes if they are not logged in. That 4 segment should be protected. That's what we are going to do right now. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna also make, remember that that's the functional parameter with export default middleware. They have the config, right? But this middleware is empty. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create an asynchronous function here where I'm gonna keep the auth gonna coming for right now. Their peak auth should be coming from nowhere, because that would be coming async. That should be our auth. And then also we're gonna pass our request. Okay, and so what we're gonna do after that, we're gonna just initialize our functional parameter. Okay, and in the initialization, we're gonna make that an auth object. object, and that object should be is equal to await auth. So whatever the auth parameter we are accessing by default as an props, it will be accessing the auth from there. Then what it gonna do, the next certain action, if is protected route is enabling, means my route is available and is coming within the request parameter, and there should be another parameter if the auth object, whatever the object we are accessing, that user ID. So this two is that, if first of all there should be two segments, that one is that is protected route in the request, like in the header request you are going to visit that account, right? This is the protected route, right? Because admin then divide, so because account / account, so whatever in the account directory, entire account directory. So means if we go in the account directory and the object is doesn't have that protected user ID, means there is no user ID, then what we're gonna do, we're gonna make that const sign in URL should be is equal to, you're gonna handling to support make that a new URL. In that way we will not let user to directly go any of the URL. We're gonna just put it right there for whatever the URL we are gonna set for them. It's gonna be sign and then in, and of course we're gonna make that, because once the sign in we want to, like, you click, like if you just go directly from here, like I'm gonna remove right now, I'm gonna make log out. Okay, I'm logging out. Then what I'm gonna do, let's say I want to access the card. I click on the card, but I cannot go to the card directly because I need to log in. I doesn't have the credential, but after log in, where it will take me, it's supposed to take me in the card, because I click on the card, so I supposed to go inject it in the card, and that's what it did. It bring me to the card. So this is the where we're gonna use the redirect function, that in that way it gonna know which URL they need to redirect me, and there should be redirect underscore, it should be underscore URL. Be careful once you are writing those things, it should be exact whatever I'm typing right here. And here I'm gonna pass that whatever the request dot next URL dot path name. Now the password should be path name. So the next URL means whatever URL I'm gonna embed it should be coming for the next, that should be injected here, and then okay, that should be after that, and then gonna passing that rect dot URL as a / parameter. And after this statement, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna return our, let's say, next response. So it's gonna coming from the next response as we're using the Next.js, and that next response should be imported from next server. Again, be careful that you are doing all of those things as right. So the next response dot redirect, and we are not, because this cannot be, middleware cannot be a client-side library, you know, it's working in the server, so it's gonna be blazing fast and it's gonna render before serving the client server. So client-side JavaScript, so it's be very powerful, it's gonna work like a blink. So now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna make that sign in URL, so it's gonna access that URL, and of course if, like, because this will only work if the route is protected and user ID is not there. If it's there, then what we're gonna do, we're gonna just return that next response. So we're gonna just go directly on that, and I will say whatever you do by default, do it. I have no complaint at all. You can directly go and engage with that. So right now it will not work directly. If I load, it cannot take an action because I write it in the middleware, it's writing it in the server. So first initial parameter, I need to let it to be taking a load. So as you can see, we're now in sign in, and as you can see, we are coming back from the account. So after sign in, it's supposed us to bring back in the sign in parameter. So now what we can do, what we need to do is to create the custom sign in. That's what's our beauty of to bring this application right here, to make these things in a different fashion. And how we can do that, especially to bringing those things. So first of all, as you can see here, we use that motion here, which is not so good to be compiling if I go logged out. And because of the motion, it's taking a bit of time to reload. You can see, that's the blink is because to make it as a use line if we use the motion. But we also need to the search params. So what I'm gonna do for search params, yeah, because we are showing something redirect URL because from where which account you're coming. Okay, we're gonna make that things to be done in a proper fashion. First of all, we're gonna make a div for the class name, and min height should be screen. Min height is screen, and then bg gradient to bottom right, and that should be from take white, from take white to take bj color. And also we're gonna make that, let's say flex should be flex column, and let's say item should be center, justify should be center, padding should be 4. So that should be gonna coming entire thing in the center line. Yeah, there, right here. Okay, now we will make it looks better. Then we're gonna just wrap everything within that div, and then we're gonna take another div here, and on the div we're gonna make another div because there's a separate segment ratio gonna be there. What we are trying to make is that clearly making this segment at the top. This one gonna render from the server side. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is right now, after the 3 speculated div, we're gonna having a link parameter which can let back us to the home, and there should be a button, and that one gonna say arrow left button, and over here for the button we're gonna provide the href should be coming /home. So this is a single button, you see it's right here, but we need to make it looks better. Okay, for this one put a class name, and that should be which should be full, and I'm going to put a max width of md just to go in pass by. This one gonna be class name, bj should be, let's say take white, and then rounded should be 2xl, and after that shadow should be xl. Also I'm going to make the overflow should be, let's say overflow should be hidden, no overflow should be coming. You see, that's the hidden method, or the shadow is just showing us. So put a class name, I'm going to make this one as relative. You can cut by cut a lot of things. I'm going to go in a very normal fashion, initial build how I did that. Put a class name, I'm going to make it as an absolute parameter so that it should not be able to see. So that should be, let's say it's gonna be coming as an absolute. I think we can do in a, yeah, or we can make, okay, I'll keep that an absolute. That should be good. So absolute, then coming in absolute, and also we need to make from the top should be 4, and also from the left should be 4, and from the z it should be a okay, yeah, okay, put save. Yeah, I think I just click on that to be close. It's my bad. Okay, so let's go back and sign in. Okay, so now you can see each, okay, you cannot see anything right now because that should need to be provided. I'm going to provide on that. On a link, it should be whatever the link is that. We're going to provide a button. Padding should be, let's say 2, rounded should be full. And I'm going to make that, let's say, I'm going to just provide some of the colors which can provide you all the segment to understand it better. So let's just bring that. And for the hover, we're going to use that hover effect parameter just to take in action. Okay, if I reload, am I seeing anything? No, I'm not seeing anything. This is because, okay, what I'm going to do, absolutely, because instead of doing this one, I think what I made mistake to, when you do this one is the first, so put a div here, then another div, then I'm going to bring our logo right here, so that in that way it can be flexible, because now we would be seeing something. You see, that's the one. This is right here because we need to make this background like that, otherwise you can't see. So what we can do right now, put a class name, bj should be, let's say take I think I'm going to make that as a take dark color. Yeah, that should be absolutely perfect. And the take white should be the text. And also I'm going to make the padding of 6, and then I'm going to also make the text should be center aligned text. Okay, so now we should be seeing those things, you see. So it's right here. That's what we are looking forward to, but because of the symphony we can't see. Now what we can do for our logo parameter, put a class name, make it a flex, justify should be center, and margin bottom should be 4. That's it. So now you see that's the same parameter, or that's the same scenario. I think for the icon, for the arrow left icon, we can just simply pass the class name to make it darker, height 4, height 5, width 5 means 20 by 20 pixel, and text take white. And you can see that's working. I think better, it would be better from the top if we put 5 or 6, because our padding is 6, so that should be a perfect blend to work on that way. Okay, so right now after that logo, so there's the logo our done, and also for the logo we can put a class name, we can put a width of a 40, so that's our logo should be taking action, not so bigger, not so smaller. We can engagely manipulate on that. And after that we're going to put an h1 tag which will say us that, or I don't like to put an h1 tag, I will make it h2, so welcome back. and then a ptag sign into access your account. That's it. So these two things gonna coming up. Put a class name right here. Text should be 2xl, let's say 2xl. Font should be bold. And then for the ptag right here, put a class name. Text should be sm, and then opacity should be, let's say, 80, and then margin top should be 1. That's it. So this is the one which we are looking for. The rest of the next one, which we are now happen to be right here, we're gonna make it, we're gonna render it from our friend Clerk. So after this two div, we're gonna take another div here. Here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna make that sign in. That should be coming from Next.js. Okay, sorry, not Next.js, from the Clerk. As you can see, from Clerk Next.js. So this is the fundamental reasoning. You can see the entire things working perfectly. And put a class name. We're gonna make a padding of 6. So the entire padding segment gonna be fill up all together. And you can see it's having a beautiful setup of the extension layer. And if we just click right here, it will automatically bring us. Because we didn't use the loader, just keep it, because this need to be loaded first. We can make a loader to make it looks better. Loading instances till those things is loading. And also for the appearance and others, I think that's perfect. That's perfect. No need to add any other appearance. And we can also define a path. So initial path it can capture should be / let's say / sign, and that should be in. So that's our initial / parameter. And also, of course, we're gonna make that, let's say, sign up URL. I think sign up URL, and that should be / sign up, SIGN, sign up. And also the redirect URL, because from where for the sign up, I don't think so we need the redirect URL. Okay, okay, we're gonna go, we will not provide the redirect URL for sign up. Then we're gonna just check what is gonna happen, how congested parameter it can. But also coming for the sign up, I think it would be good, if we can access that. But if we make that URL, we need to access as that as a client side. So I don't want it to, but later on, if we are looking forward, maybe we should be able to grab it back. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just make that in a different way. Instead of in a dynamic way, we can directly pass that the sign up. Whenever a sign up gonna happen, what is a good way to provide that? Let's say I'm gonna make that redirect, and the redirect underscore URL should be is equal to, I'm gonna make that / account / account. So that should be passing that account URL whenever a sign up is gonna happen. And if we click in sign up, you should be able to see we are gonna coming back directly in the sign up. You see, sign up. It's showing sign in, but it is a sign up. If you just change it here, sign up. That's it. It's cool. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the similar symphony for the sign up parameter so that it can be looks better. So what we can do now here, if because of the sign up URL, we need to make a lot of other things. So first of all, I'm going to bring back our friends, people, whatever the thing is there previously. I think the elements is not recur right now, and redirect okay, elements, yeah, appearance, I'm keeping whatever appearance we are having right now, and I need to bring back the sign up directly from the Clerk Next.js. And the redirect URL, remember the redirect URL which we are looking forward to, now we're not providing that. So yeah, I think, yeah, we're not providing. And directly, if we are having redirect, we can just pass that, let's say / account / account. And for the sign out, also redirect URL should be / account / account. Just to see if it's breaking, we're gonna find a solution for it. Okay, and that should be coming for the link. This is the same setup, just changing the text for that one, which is just saying that passing the logo right here, and then we are saying create an account, and just the change is that create an account and join shop tag for the best shopping experience. I'm gonna make that one as an h2 tag. It's safe, and you're gonna find out the things which you are looking forward to. Now it's not looks so good because we need to go directly working on that parameter right here, so which is to make that, I think I'm gonna go and make another div here which we need to align. Let's put a class name here. It should be min height and screen parameter. That's it. And after that, okay, the similar class name which we are providing the beforehand. and also okay, the class name, and for the div here, class name which should be full, and then max which should be empty. That's it, and it's gonna be coming right here. So what I'm gonna do, let's go back to directly in our okay, I think there is some changes. The top should be 6, previously keep it 4. Now I'll click on the account, okay, and I'm going to go directly logged in using the Google. So let's see if it's working or not. So let's click in the Google account, and then what is going to happen after logged in, it's going to redirect me back to my account page. So as you can see, everything working perfectly, smoothly, and amazingly right. Now it's our turn to make this page, especially for the account page, which there is a lot of functionality. There is, we need to create the layout to make embedded everything neat and clean. We're gonna initialize that. But now I think you are already understand what actually we're looking forward to make. So now we're gonna make this route, make this for the particular instance of the layout. So we're gonna do that. You're gonna do that. But first, try this one pretty much harder. If you having no problem at all, maybe you're gonna grab this everything on proper way. So yeah, do this right now.